All right. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. We are so happy to have you all join us. This is such an important topic. Um, Understanding how we can maximize our savings, keep our benefits, etc. I'll just very briefly introduce myself. I'm Arash Bayatmakou. I'm the executive director of NorCal SCI. And I was down at the LA Abilities Expo in March, and I met the team from CalABLE there. And really, that was the catalyst for me thinking, this would be really good information for our community. And so, really grateful to CalABLE and their team, and today, Melanie, for joining us to do this. I'm going to pass it over to Melanie in a moment to introduce herself and then do the presentation. We will have some time for some Q&A at the end. Everyone's been muted for now, just to keep everything moving well. But if you have any questions as they come up, you can put them in the chat, or you can just make a note, and later on we'll address them. Melanie, does that work for you timing wise? If
That
we kind
works.
of
Yeah, I left
talked
room for
about
questions at the end. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, feel free to put them in the chat, and if we're not talking about it right away, then rest assured we will have time. So I'll keep an eye on that. So make sure you note your questions as they come up, and this session is being recorded so that we can share with some other folks as well. So thank you all again for joining us. And this is the kind of programming that we're trying to do more of here at NorCal SCI. So really happy you joined us. I'm going to spotlight Melanie and pass it over to you, Melanie. Take it away, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Melanie Bown. I'm an outreach specialist with CalABLE, and I'm really glad that you're all here. So what is CalABLE? CalABLE is a savings and investment program created to help people with disabilities. ABLE is Achieving a Better Life Experience. That's what that stands for. And it's under a federal law that was passed in 2014. And then CalABLE is the California version of the ABLE Act. Most other states have ABLE accounts. If you were to live in another state and open one there, you can transfer it to here and vice versa. But you can only have one ABLE account. Also, if you have friends and family that live in another state, they also can have a CalABLE account. Different states have different qualifications. For ours, we allow anybody in the United States to have a CalABLE account, so you don't have to be a California resident. Let's see. So CalABLE is offered by the state of California, and it's chaired by the state treasurer. We're under her office. We have over 280 million in assets under management and over 20,000 accounts. And it's available for anyone whose disability began before the age of 46. So you can be older than 46, but the disability just had to have occurred before the age of 46. So in order to qualify for CalABLE, you have to have a qualifying disability. It's regardless of your current age. It's as long as the disability began before the age of 46. And if you met the criteria, I've gone through the eligibility criteria for disability benefits programs like SSI or SSDI, then you're automatically eligible. If you're not on benefits or you don't receive government benefits, you can open an account by self-certifying. With self-certifying, we recommend that you get a signed note from your doctor saying this is your disability and that it occurred before your 46th birthday. We don't ask to see that, but it's good to keep it for your records in case you get audited by SSI or the IRS. It's good to have that on hand. And we do have a form available on our website to help with that. And our website's calable.ca.gov. So the following are not requirements. You don't have to be a US citizen, you don't have to be a California resident, and you don't have to be receiving public benefits in order to qualify for CalABLE. So why have a CalABLE account? So today I'm going to talk about some of the basics of the program and why everyone with a disability or those who care for them should know about CalABLE. Because living with a disability can be expensive. There are maybe medical expenses or bills, might need assistive technology, things like that. And to protect eligibility for benefits like SSI that have asset limits. So a CalABLE account isn't going to count towards your asset limits, and we'll talk more about that. So it assists in planning for a lifetime of opportunity, like going to college, starting a business, traveling, or living independently. With CalABLE, one can save for the future without putting benefits at risk. And it can help saving money without affecting eligibility for important benefits. Things like SSI, CalFresh, Section 8 housing, they usually look at how much money one has. But with CalABLE, savings is protected. With SSI, there's that $2,000 asset limit. So when the money is in CalABLE, it doesn't count as an asset. So in that way, all the extra money, you can put it in there and not have to spend down every month. So, and the best part is that friends and family can also contribute directly to a CalABLE account, and it won't count as income. So if people are putting money directly into your savings account, a regular bank account, that may be counted as income with SSI. CalABLE, it's protected as long as they put the money directly into the CalABLE account. It enables financial planning and maximizing independence because contributions are not considered income. So I said something about living with a disability being more expensive. The statistic is 29% more expensive, which that's a lot. It's almost like an extra tax, right? There may be healthcare costs, accessible housing, adaptive equipment, assistive care, specialty diets. If you have a service dog, there's not only getting the service dog, but there's, vet bills and food and things like that. So there's added expenses. So CalABLE lets people with disabilities save and plan for their own expenses, both now and in the future. It can work like a flexible retirement supplement plan where you don't have to wait to a certain age to take it out, but it's similar to an IRA in that you can choose different investment options. And you can use it for bigger goals like buying a home, a car, or everyday purchases, whatever fits for your life. There are no penalties for spending your savings at any time. It's your money. So you don't need to receive public benefits to qualify for an account. And best of all, earnings don't incur state or federal taxes. That's one of the best benefits. I'd say the top two best benefits are not affecting your asset limit and then also not incurring those state or federal taxes on the interest earned. So this is Miguel, one of our ambassadors, and he's also an attorney who specializes in helping people with disabilities. So I'll play this video so you can learn more about Miguel.
My name is Miguel. I'm a lifelong Californian. I live in Redondo Beach, and I'm an attorney. I have an inherited retinal disease called choroideremia. It's hard to say, and it's hard to live with. I'm slowly losing my vision, but I am legally blind. Being disabled, I've realized, is very expensive. I'm a lawyer by trade, so I research things when I don't know the answer to something. And I found CalABLE. At that point, I was starting to learn about investing and saving, but I don't really know much about it. Child of immigrants, we save cash, and so stocks, things like that, and investment strategy was something that's even with my education, kind of outside of my area. And so with CalABLE, feels like a little bit of handholding of learning that, and it allowed me to get an introduction to investing for my future while actually doing it and planning for disability expenses that were here and that would be coming in the future. The best feature is the self-determination that you are in charge of your own account. Oftentimes we have to hand over autonomy and self-determination in exchange for resources or assistance. And this is one of the few vehicles or resources that I've encountered where that compromise doesn't have to be made. Nosotros somos CalABLE.
Okay, so that's Miguel. Oh. And so I recognize I was probably talking a little fast in the beginning. If I am talking too fast, feel free to put in the chat, slow down, and then tell me to slow down. But this is an overview of our investment portfolios. So you can see the top one is an FDIC insured portfolio. So that's like a savings account. So a savings account has a FDIC insurance where the federal government ensures that if something goes wrong with that bank, they will give you up to $250,000 to reimburse money that was lost. So same thing with our FDIC insured portfolio. It's insured up to $250,000. Below that, you'll see an income portfolio. So that's a very conservative kind of investment where it's mostly bonds, and then it's got just a little bit of money market securities. And then progressively, they get a little higher in risk with more stocks, which stocks go up and down, and there's less predictability. The market could go really high. You have traditionally a bigger chance of earning more money, but also there's the chance of it going down. And we're not able to give any kind of advice, money advice, but often people look at stocks investment when it's more further out, that they can leave the money for a while and they won't be as affected by the up and down. But there are a lot of different options. So depending on how you need to use it, if you need the money, put it in and immediately use it, you might want to look at some of the less risky options that may have less variability. But so this is an investment overview of our portfolios and what we offer. So CalABLE helps people save money for themselves or someone they love. So you can open and manage an account on behalf of someone with a disability if they require assistance. You can save for a child with a disability and build a nest egg for their future. Friends, family, and anyone can also contribute to a CalABLE account via our gifting pages. The gifting pages are great. It's kind of like a GoFundMe account where you can say, here's the link. You can put money in the account for a birthday or a graduation, things like that. Or if somebody just wants to help out, maybe, you have an unexpected expense. So for someone receiving public benefits, this is a way not to have to spend down money every month. SSI has that $2,000 asset limit, which means you can't have more than $2,000 at any given time. The first of the month is when I believe they look at your account, but you can't have more than $2,000 or you might affect your benefits. You might lose some of the benefits. So if you just put your extra money in your CalABLE account, that way it's protected from being looked at as an asset. And you can save up to $100,000 and not affect SSI. So money can build up over time, and you can save for bigger things. It would be impossible to put a down payment on a house if you can only have $2,000 a month and you have to spend it every month. So there's a way to save for bigger items. So when we talk about income and assets, benefits programs look at your income and your assets for eligibility. Income is how much money you make. CalABLE isn't able to help with that dollar amount and how that may affect your benefits. What we can help with is assets and how much money you have. So income is how much money you make. So that's your paychecks from a job, gifts from family and friends that are going directly into your bank account. So assets are cash and sometimes property, money you have in a bank account. And CalABLE helps protect assets saved in the account and prevents deposited gifts from counting as income. So it's a way to get around gifts counting as income. Like if somebody's helping you with rent or something, if they put it in the CalABLE account, that's a way to not have that count as your income. So SSI and SSDI. So SSI looks at income, it looks at assets. You can save up to $100,000 with CalABLE and not affect SSI. If you have SSDI, it looks at income, but it does not look at assets. And so you can save up to $529,000 with CalABLE if you're on SSDI. So again, income's how much you make and assets are how much money you have. CalABLE helps maximize independence for life. And we'll look at some testimonials from some of our ambassadors. So this is Raymond, and before CalABLE, people with disabilities, or the ABLE Act, people with disabilities cannot save more than $2,000 in their bank accounts without the risk of losing their SSI benefits. And now those with CalABLE or ABLE accounts can save up to $100,000 or have up to $100,000 at any time in their account, their ABLE account, without losing or risking SSI, and they can use it to improve their quality of life or simply save for a rainy day. And again, contributions are not considered income. So this is Hector. Hector really knows how to leverage his CalABLE account, And so for his birthday, he asked people to put money in his account, and he was able to save up enough money to put a down payment on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home. So that really propelled him into homeownership in that way. So I had mentioned you can have up to $100,000 in your account and not affect SSI, but there is a yearly contribution limit. And for 2026, the contribution limit is $20,000. So you can put up to $20,000 in your CalABLE account. If friends and family are putting money in, it all counts towards that $20,000. And once you get to that $20,000 cap, your gift page is still there, but it's just frozen and won't take any more input until the new calendar year. And that 20,000, traditionally, that does go up every year. I believe last year it may have been $19,000. So, but for 2026, it's 20,000. Now, and if you're not receiving any benefits that you have to consider your assets, you can have up to $529,000 in your CalABLE account. So how do you make contributions? You can set up recurring contributions, or you can make transfers from your bank account to CalABLE. You can set up direct deposit of Social Security benefits to CalABLE. You can set up direct deposit at work if you're working, and you can also contribute funds to your account by mailing a check. They don't accept money orders, traveler's checks, or cashier's checks. So that's the only kind of restriction there. So you also can have a gifting page. I'd mentioned that, where family and friends can put money in. You can set that up where anyone who has a link can contribute towards your goal. And gift contributions count towards your yearly contribution limit. So again, once you've reached that limit, nobody can contribute until the next calendar year. And gift contributions do not count as income as long as they're going directly into your CalABLE account. So qualified disability expenses, what is that, right? So qualified disability expense is something that is going to improve the person who owns the account's health, independence, or quality of life. And it truly means that an individual can spend their money on anything that helps the beneficiary or the person with the disability to maintain their health, independence, or quality of life. And these are intentionally broad categories. So it can include, basic living expenses, education, transportation, all kinds of things. It can be anything that helps to maintain health, independence, and quality of life. And the intent around the Federal ABLE Act is that accounts are meant to be usable. So it doesn't give you a lot of limitations on what you can use money for, as long as they're helping to support a healthy life with a disability. So here's some categories here, examples of qualified disability expenses. It's not a comprehensive list, but just some general categories. You may notice housing has a star by it. And the reason for that is if money is drawn out for housing, it has to be spent in the same month that it was drawn out in order to not count as income. So if you're paying your June rent and you're drawing it out in May, you want to make sure you pay it before that June 1st, so it doesn't count as income if it's still in your regular banking account in the next month. So just, you have to remember to spend it within the same month. A workaround may be paying your rent a day early. That may be a workaround, or mid-month, something like that, where you have some more wiggle room. So funeral and burial expenses on there. That one's on there. The person who owns the account, if they pass away, so there's no state or federal taxes on the money, the interest that's earned in the account. But if someone passes away, money can still be used to pay for their funeral and burial expenses, because it's still to that person's benefit paying for those expenses. So those would not incur state and federal taxes. Let's see. So this is Brenda. Brenda is one of our CalABLE ambassadors who has leveraged her account in great ways. And so I'll play the video and let you see a little bit about Brenda.
Disabled people's lives are always very uncertain. There's a lot of stigma in society about what their life is like. I think we should only count on what we think of ourselves, not what others think about ourselves. My name is Brenda, and I'm a CalABLE ambassador. I'm 31 years old. I moved to Santa Cruz during the pandemic. I do a lot of remote work. I was invited to join the Commission on Disabilities for the county. I participated in the volunteer team to build the first inclusive playground for the county. I became a certified healthcare interpreter in the hospitals, and I worked nonprofit for county parks. I opened an ABLE account before they had it in California and Virginia. And once I saw California had its own plan, I switched over. Before CalABLE, I was already working. My income was sometimes higher than the asset limit, so I was like stressing out to withdraw money every day at the ATM. Where do I put it now? I can't have it in the bank. I don't need to spend it right now. CalABLE was so much easier because I was able to calculate how much I needed for bills. If I have excess, I just transfer it over every month to avoid all of those stressful situations. My parents are my biggest support system. They're my primary caregivers as well. And, if I were to pass away, I want my parents to have the little savings I accrue for them. CalABLE allowed me to close escrow on my house with a deposit. This house was specifically designed for wheelchair users. I had accumulated some savings in the CalABLE account, so we were able to use that to make the deposit on the house. So if you are interested at all in investing, growing your funds, peace of mind in where you save, CalABLE is one of the best options you can have. It's a huge benefit for all types of families and situations. Somos CalABLE.
So let me see if this paused. Yeah. So something worth mentioning too with the qualified disability expenses, wheelchair accessible vehicle. That would be something that you could also have as a qualified disability expense. And if there's a parent with a child that needs an adaptive vehicle, then they can also spend the money from the CalABLE account because it is to help the person who is the account owner. So that's something that people may not necessarily realize is that that car may be in the parent's name, but it's really helping the health and independence of the person with the disability. Let's go to the next slide. So what is a non-qualified disability? It's any expense that does not benefit the beneficiary by maintaining or improving health, independence, or quality of life. So what does that look like? These are the three big no-nos in a CalABLE account. Giving gifts to other people. So the money is intended to be spent towards the benefit of the person with the account. Any illegal purchases, illicit drugs, things like that, or gambling. So those are kind of the three main categories that are a no. And CalABLE's not the spending police of what did you spend money on, but the reason why you may want to, or we encourage you to keep receipts of what you spent money on is in case you get audited by the IRS or SSI, then you can say, oh, here's what it is. And within the account, it does have some tools to help you with tracking spending. So a QDA recap, if an expense helps support health, independence, or quality of life, it likely qualifies. Withdrawals for these expenses are tax and penalty free, so there's no state or federal taxes on that. And withdrawals do not count as income. And withdrawals are not counted as a resource by means tested benefits. So that's referring to like your SSI. So making withdrawals, we talked about contributions. We'll talk about making withdrawals. You can do one-time or recurring electronic transfers. Maybe you have a bill that comes up every month, your car insurance or a mortgage, something like that. So you can have that set up. Prepaid cards. So that's one of the easiest ways to use a CalABLE account. There's a ATM credit card that you can use where you preload money onto it. So it also helps with budgeting. And actually, I think our next slide goes a little more into it, so I won't go too deep right now. But that's a great way to use the money. You can also do a cash withdrawal with that card. You can use it as an ATM and go to an ATM and withdraw. or by check. You can have them mail you a check. So this is the prepaid card. You can load funds onto it. It helps with budgeting in that you can see where the money is spent. If you're managing an account for someone else, you can say, okay, you have $100 this month, or you have $100 for this 2 weeks, or whatever you determine is a reasonable amount. And then that helps the person to realize, like, oh, okay, I spent it, now it's gone. And it helps track what it was spent on. So it's a really good budgeting tool. You also can do restrictions on where it's spent. Maybe you want to say, oh, you can't use this at the liquor store, and there's this, restriction on it. You can get 2 separate cards. So if someone is supporting the beneficiary, that would be somebody we call an authorized legal representative, somebody authorized to help with that account. You can use that to buy groceries and other things on behalf of the person who has the account. And again, you can use that to withdraw cash for eligible expenses, and there's no monthly fees. Ooh, I skipped a slide. So how do I open a CalABLE account? CalABLE is 100% digital. So we have a website where you can go and open the account, and that's probably the easiest spot. But we also have a mobile app, and the mobile app is great for just having access to it anywhere you want to be. So it's probably easier to open the account on the website, but the mobile account is super easy for when you're out and about. So things you need to know before opening an account: the person with the disability is always the owner of the ABLE account and the beneficiary. So even if that person is a minor, they are still the owner and the beneficiary of the CalABLE account, and therefore any money in the account belongs to that person. The account can be opened by the person with the disability, or it can be opened by an authorized legal representative. And signing up can be accessed in 20 different languages. And again, you can only have one ABLE account. So if you had one in another state, you can keep that, or you can roll it over. So here's to contact us. That phone number is to help if you're having trouble with signing on to an account, or you forgot your password, or there's some sort of glitch, and you want help with how to get through that. That's the customer service, and it's open 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. They have more than 240 languages, and they also have a relay service to help with hearing impairment. You can sign up to receive our emails, newsletters, and information by scanning the QR code. We also are on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So you can follow us there and find out about webinars. We have monthly webinars on specific topics, and you can also ask questions there. This month, just a couple days ago, we had Social Security that came and spoke about their part with CalABLE, and we're able to answer some pretty specific questions about Social Security. Next month, it's Medi-Cal. So those are really big questions people have a lot of times, and it can be kind of confusing. So it's nice to get that information. You also can go to our YouTube, I forgot to say we have a YouTube channel. You can go to there and watch past webinars. If there's certain topics you want to know more about, special needs trusts and how those interact with CalABLE. They really work well in tandem together, where a special needs trust does a lot of things we can't do, like hold property, and it has no limit, where we have a limit, but there's less kind of filters on using the money. You have more direct access with a CalABLE account, and there's no taxes. So, you can kind of jostle money between the two depending on what's most beneficial. So often people will have both. So this is the disclosure statement. This is just saying we can't give you any kind of financial advice. You want to talk to your financial advisor that you trust to get advice. And it also mentions Vestwell, and Vestwell is our financial partner. So you may see their name on things, and they're our financial partner that helps with the investments portion of things, and managing the customer service when they can interface with the actual accounts. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
All right. Thank you so much, Melanie. Appreciate that. We do have some questions. So we can just jump right in. I'm gonna go in order of questions. So first question is, can you hold and or contribute to more than one investment portfolio at a time?
Yes. Yeah, so it allows you to determine how you want to distribute the money. So there's a part where you click and make choices. Yeah, so you can distribute it in different ways.
Excellent. Next question. Homer asks, can one donate to CalABLE from a trusted IRA tax-free? Sorry, trusteed IRA.
So I don't think you can transfer money from an IRA to a CalABLE account. I think I'm not an expert on this, but I think IRA, you can only transfer to other IRAs, I believe. So yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I will say too, our website has a really good chat bot that gleans information from all kinds of documents. Sometimes it just doesn't know, but that may be a good question to ask the chat bot on our website.
That was going to be my follow-up, is where can someone maybe get that clarity? So that's great.
Yeah,
Okay, Wojtek asks, what happens to the money when you pass away? Could my wife get access to it or does it go away?
that's a great question. So if your wife has a disability and has a CalABLE account, you can assign her to have those funds passed on to her. If she doesn't have a disability and an ABLE account, then it would be just like a regular inheritance where once that money goes outside of the account, you would pay state and federal taxes on the interest earned.
Okay, so just on the interest earned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that, you know, on the benefit of the money that was earned in the account, yeah, you would pay
Right.
state and federal taxes on that.
Okay. Okay. Good question. Okay, next question. Regarding a vacation, can I use my account to cover family caregivers traveling with me, i.e., transportation, food, lodging, activities, etc.?
That's a great question too. So the way to have that be a qualified expense is say, well, I need my caregiver to be with me. They help me with certain tasks, you know, maybe with transfers, whatever the case may be. As long as they're helping you to improve your experience, it can't just be. It just makes it so much more fun when my friend is there. That wouldn't be a qualified expense. But if that person is your helper and helps you with certain things, then yes, you can pay for their admission, their transportation. And as far as travel goes, definitely your transportation costs, your food costs, you know, anything that's enhancing your life. But yeah, as far as bringing someone else, you'd have to look at you know, what is their role in going. If it's just being a friend and a partner, then maybe not. But if they're offering some enhanced service by being there, then I think you can have it be a qualified disability expense. Does that?
And just to quickly follow up on that,
Yeah.
does your previous answer hold true that the only way, let's say, that might be tested is if you get audited, or is there like some kind of mechanism that you enter in, like this is the name of my caregiver or these are the names of my care? Okay.
No, we don't get into the minutia of how you're spending your money or living your life. It'd just be if you're getting audited, you know, and I don't know how often that happens. Probably with a similar frequency that getting audited by the IRS or, you know, happens on a regular, or SSI happens on a regular basis. So yeah, I haven't heard stories of it, but that's one thing we caution people, like save your receipts or whatever records just in case.
All right, excellent. Next question. I think this is an easy one. Angelo asks, I was when I was injured and ended up with my SCI in 2022, I was 50, hence I would not be able to have a CalABLE account. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're hoping to increase the age limit. It was 26, and that just changed on January 1st. So we'd like to have no age, restriction on it, and have it be at any time. But at this time, it's 46, unfortunately. I would say check back every year and make sure it hasn't changed. But as of right now, yeah, 46, it has to happen before your 46th birthday. So 46 and less, yeah.
Angelo's follow-up is there any other type of accounts I could utilize?
You may want to look at a special needs trust. There's a lot that you can do with a special needs trust. There is some expense with that. I think they're like $3,000 to $5,000 maybe to open. And I know my sister has one, and my mom complains that the tax situation is more challenging to manage. But yeah, that would be something I would check into and just see, does it benefit you? I know a lot of times nonprofits will have free webinars about special, we do have I'm going to say we do have a webinar on special needs trusts. So you may want to look that up and see if that gives you some information that's helpful of would it help your situation or not.
Excellent. And your answer is confirming Karen, who commented right after the question too, who Karen said the same thing. You can open a special needs trust. So
yeah,
good. And Karen actually says she has that and a CalABLE account. So for those,
yeah, they work well together.
You can have both. Okay, next question is from Mark. Can I roll IRA money into an ABLE account? I think this was kind of already earlier.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that would count as cashing it out as opposed to rolling it into another IRA account. I think it would count as cashing it out because we don't have the same status as an IRA account.
Okay. And follow up from Mark is there a benefit to ABLE versus Roth for an SSDI recipient?
Well, you wouldn't because the Roth you're paying taxes ahead of time, right? So yeah, I don't.
Maybe that's a question for the chatbot.
Yeah, if you're having any kind of benefits, then that's the if you get SSI or some of the benefits that look at your assets, then that would be the nice benefit as compared to a Roth IRA. And the other thing is you don't have to wait to a certain age to take it out. So that's another benefit to the Roth IRA from different than the Roth IRA. You can take it out at any time. There's no age restriction on when you can withdraw the funds. You can withdraw all the money. You can put it in and withdraw it all the next day. It's your money to do what you want.
That's great. We have one more question in the chat from Conrad. Conrad said, is it like an HSA, health savings account, but better?
I mean, HSA, you have to spend it on things that are health related, right? This, you can just spend it on any quality of life kind of thing. Vacations, going out to dinner, a car, so there's not as much restrictions as an SHA.
I like the example from, I think it was one of the videos, or maybe, I'm sorry, now I can't remember, but the person who was able to save for a down payment for the motorhome.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a huge expense. So
yeah,
that's great. We've got another good question that just came in from Wojtek in the chat. Are there limits to how much you can withdraw in a year? Could I, for example, decide to pay off my mortgage and empty the account?
You can, but you can only put in 20,000 per year. So I don't know how big your mortgage is, but that, if you had up to 100,000 in there, if you had 529, you could withdraw it all at one time. We don't have any say so on that. Yeah.
Okay. Other questions, and if anyone wants to come off of mute, you can, or please feel free if there are more questions, or if someone said something that's oh, Karen asked a good question. Do service, I assume the answer is yes. Do service expenses count? I think you said that already, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
That's
Yeah, and Karen, and this is for anybody with a service dog. Maybe Karen already knows this, but the state of California, from as far as I know, it's still there. There is a program where if you have a service dog, you can get a stipend every month for helping with expenses. A few years ago, it was only $50 a month, so it's not, groundbreaking, but it's still free money to help you with service dog expenses. So, uh, yeah, I don't know, Karen. You can maybe just look it up, just like Google, but it's a state program. So I know folks who've had service dogs, you have to provide the proof and, it's not super complicated. And then once you qualify for that, the state will send you a check once a month for again, $50. I don't know. There's been some budget stuff. They've cut things, so I hope it's still around, but it shouldn't be too hard to figure it out. So great. Karen found it, and now it's in the chat. So anyone else who has a service dog and you want to look at that, check out the link in the chat.
I'm curious too if that's exempt from counting towards your assets.
I don't think it counts as income, but I'm not sure. I'm sure maybe
Yeah.
the website hopefully has that info.
And I wonder if you could get around that at all by putting it in your.
I was going to say, yeah, what if you put it into your
It
put
may
it into
still
your
count,
account?
if it's a government benefit, it
Yeah.
may still be counted just because they know what it is, But
Yep.
that may be something to look at.
Yeah. Good. Gabriel's raising his hand. Gabriel, I gave you the prompt to unmute yourself, so
Yeah, I was just curious.
go
You
ahead.
did present some of the investment portfolio options there. I would imagine there's more detail as far as like what you could potentially invest into on the website, et cetera, and all that, right?
Yeah, so it's not specific stocks. It's kind of like a mutual fund, right? I think they even used Fidelity and some of the other funds that you would have access to publicly. So they're like a mutual fund. So it's not super specific of what you're choosing. It's more, 50% stocks and this amount in bonds. As opposed to I'm choosing Apple stock and Tesla stock or whatever. It's not that specific. It's more like a mutual fund where you're just picking the percentages. And I mentioned we have Vestwell, our financial partner. So they're the ones that are helping with managing that.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like if you had a Vanguard account, but not where you can be really specific.
Melanie, I have a couple of quick questions that have come to my mind.
Yeah.
One's I'll just start with maybe the easier one. I assume the answer is no, but if someone puts money into your CalABLE account, that's not a tax deductible. That's not like donating to a nonprofit or something, is it?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. And then next question is, I guess, something I've just been thinking about since I met you all in LA and had the conversation with your team is, it's almost it sounds a little too good to be true. Is that not the
We
case?
get that.
Yeah.
We get that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
because
looking it over thinking I've been disabled for 14 years. I'm like, why didn't I know about this sooner? So that's not your fault, that's mine. But I guess I'm just curious. I think it seems like a great way to just maximize savings.
and that's one of the resistance we get from people to open an account because it's like this doesn't seem true, but we are under the state treasurer, so you can look up the state treasurer of state of California, Fiona Ma, and see that we are under her. It's a legitimate resource. But yeah, it does sound too good to be true because for so many years people were told don't have money, you're going to mess up your benefits.
I guess one more quick question I had, since we have a moment, is I know there's a lot of talk right now of there might be some cuts to Medi-Cal and some changes. Do you anticipate does any of that impact this CalABLE situation?
So we've been watching that. I think the first round of that got rejected. So it's not an absolute, it's not going to go through, but it's not looking good for that change to go through.
Okay.
And we don't want it to,
Yeah, I was going to say, not that meaning things will stay as they are.
we hope so.
Good. Oh,
We hope so.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're watching some of the federal things and state things that are being discussed right now, but yeah.
Yeah, and Cynthia just asked the question. I think you brought this up about raising the age. You said it used to be 26, now it's 46. And that's as of, did you say that's as of January of this year?
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
that's
It's very,
very,
very recent.
very new. Okay, so no wonder. So the umbrella has been much more open for only a short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're trying to get the word out to people because it makes a lot more people eligible than were before. And we hope we can get it to raise even more, but, we'll take it in increments how we can get it. So.
Okay. Anna, sorry, I don't know exactly, asks, what happens if investments lose money?
It's just like having it in any other investment account. It loses money. Maybe it'll come back up. Maybe it won't. It's similar to having money in a mutual fund. And that's, I've had money in mutual funds and you watch it go up and down and up and down. They tell you don't look. Don't look until you need to take it out, because it does go up and down. If you need money more immediately, then that may not be, the heavier stock option plans may not be what's good for you. It may be too stressful, or the money may not be there at the time you need it, if you need money more immediately.
Yeah, I guess it's if you're scared about a bubble or a crash, then I guess it applies for anything. And I guess maybe to bring it back to your earlier point, maybe then the portfolio you choose is important,
Mhm.
right?
There's the FDIC account. So the FDIC one, it is what it is. It's like a regular bank account where you put the money in, it's at this interest rate, and that's what it is. There's no variable. It is going to get the interest that it says it's going to get.
Do you know what that interest rate is right now?
I don't. I can ask the chat bot, but yeah, no, I don't know what that is. And that's like any other bank account where it may vary depending on what the market rates are. I know with my credit union, that interest rate goes up and down. And so it's similar to that. I know when I looked the last time, it had a better rate than I had at my credit union. Oh, one thing I didn't mention that I think is good to know going into it is there is a $30 a year fee to have an account, and they do take a sliver of investments. And that helps to pay for the management of the account. And so that's similar to like a regular mutual fund or something like that. There's often a sliver of the investment that they take. And the $30, you'll see that in quarterly subtraction from the account. I think it's like $6 a quarter. So for some people, that's hard. If they don't have a lot of money, then that's a hard thing to see. But it kind of gets counterbalanced by the fact that there's no state or federal taxes, so that makes up for the dollar difference in that way. And then also the benefit to protecting your public benefits. So those, in my mind, those kind of counterbalance, but it may be something you want to look at and make sure that works for you.
Okay. And I'm going to jump out of order for just a second because Gabriel's question's on that exact point. He says, what is that sliver percent that's taken? Did you say it's just $30 a year?
So there's the $30 a year, and then there's a small sliver on the investments. I would have to look. It's a very small, like point something of a percentage, and it probably depends on which investment option you're choosing, how much the money's being managed.
Yeah, these are great questions. So I think if anyone's curious about it, really do your homework when you're opening the account and ask all these questions that if there's any that we haven't resolved. So another question from Wojtek, what risks are there to putting money into this account other than financial risks of investing? Could laws change and you lose access to the entire account? I've actually thought about this myself. So
yeah, with the current administration, we're seeing a lot of fast changes that we've not seen in the past, but it should be protected by the federal law, and there should be a process for any of that changing. So it should be protected for sure. The FDIC, accounts are protected up to that 250,000. I don't see it just going away. I mean, it is a federal program with the state programs underneath the federal law. Yeah, I don't see it going away just like other banking institutions, but I don't know how to answer that to
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We couple more questions still, and if you have any remaining questions, please put them in now. We are almost at time, so we are going to wrap in a couple minutes. So I guess we'll try to get through these last few. Are the gains made within your investment portfolio still subject to traditional capital gains tax under the ABLE account?
So there's no state or federal taxes on interest earned in a CalABLE account.
Great.
The only time that interest is going to be paid is if the person passes away and the money is passed
Go
on.
to a non-disabled person, like you were saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're spending on a non-qualified expense, which again, that's kind of a narrow, those aren't things that are going to be beneficial to your health. So.
Okay. Couple more. 401k accounts are immune from lawsuits and creditors. Will CalABLE accounts have similar protections?
That's a good question. I know there are certain protections like Medi-Cal when they do clawbacks. There's certain protections there where there's you have to meet like 4 different criteria in order for them to draw the money back. So I know there are some protections. I haven't heard that question before, so I don't know 100% the answer. My guess would be there's protections because I know they protect it from Medi-Cal clawbacks. So if they're protecting it from that, my guess is with the other. But yeah, I haven't heard that question before, so I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Last question for now. What year was CalABLE started? And then someone said possibly 2015.
I think it was 2017, and ABLE, the federal law, was 2014, and I think the California program was 2017, I believe.
Okay. Excellent. All right. If you have any very quick questions before we wrap, now is the time. Either put it in the chat or come off mute, raise your hand, because otherwise we'll wrap it up here. But
those have been great questions.
yeah, really good ones.
Yeah. And if you have questions after this and you think, oh, shoot, I wish I'd asked this, you can always email us. We're a small team. There's only 5 of us. Sometimes it takes us a little time to get back to you, but you can always email us at calable@treasurer.ca.gov.
Awesome. Well, again, I guess just a quick recap and thank you. Yeah, this is so informative. Again, I'm kind of kicking myself thinking this is too good to be true. Like, why didn't I have this sooner? So thank you, Melanie. Thank you, CalABLE and the team for being willing to do this webinar for us. Thanks for all the great questions. We addressed so much, and it sounds like the bottom line is if you still have questions, you can send an email or use the chat bot on the CalABLE page. But I learned so much from this already. So thanks everyone for taking part. We will share the recording probably through our newsletter as well. So if you know anyone who might benefit from this, once we do have it out, it'll go on our YouTube page and you can send it out. So this is really useful information. And I think it sounds like pretty much everybody, there's almost no reason not to open one of these accounts, even if you just put a small amount of money in there to protect your assets. So thank you, Melanie. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Yeah. It was nice to be here.
Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for joining. And keep your eye out for more webinars and programs like this through NorCal SCI, and happy you could make it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Super quick question. Can we get access to the slides?
I can email them. Do you have access to everybody's email addresses that attended or no?
Yeah, I will probably after the meeting. I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, beforehand. I couldn't just export the list, but yeah, if I think once we have the attendee list, I should be able to do that. So,
If anything goes sideways and you're not able to, you can always email us at the inbox and then I can send them to you that way.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks,
Thank
Melanie.
you. Yeah, thank you.